Hi. So this is going to be a part of the Things That Make You Think series, and this is going to be on interracial relationships. Now, I wanted to make this video last week, but so many things happened and I just didn't get it done. So everything that made me want to do this was based on things I read and watched last week. And the first thing that I saw that made me want to do this was a YouTuber made like a video. It was like a gossip video on a couple, a celebrity couple, and he was talking about how he was not here for interracial relationships, that people need to date in their own race. I thought that was a bit, he says, like, I thought that was a bit fucked up, and his reasoning for that was kind of based on like, if you date outside your race, you hate yourself, which I think is completely wrong. So I wanted to address that. The second thing I read, it was like someone above was telling me to do this video, because the second thing I read, the first one was what I watched. The second thing I read was based on our relationship post. Now, I don't really like to read our relationships because it's just a bit, I don't always agree with the advice that people give. But in that video, I was so angry. In that read, I was very angry, and it was, I'll leave a link to it below if it's still there. It was about a black woman who was dating a white guy, and basically the white guy was just living out his fantasy of a master-slave type relationship. It was like a fantasy of his to be basically a slave owner, because, I don't know, it was just very odd, very weird, and she just basically let him degrade her, call her the N-word, tell her, he even brought slavery into it, like he actually brought slavery into it. He was talking about, how does your ancestors feel to see you be dominated by a superior white man or something like that. Like, it was just, it got my blood boiling. I wanted it to be a troll so badly, because I just refused to believe someone would let them degrade them like that. But, you know, things happen in life, and it probably isn't fake. So that was another thing that made me watch this video. And lastly, I saw like a short film, and it was about, you know, interracial relationships and the stereotypes and the things that people will go through. Now I got that out of the way, my thoughts and opinions and feelings on this. I am a black woman, obviously, and I'm dating a white guy. And we've been dating or going out for a good, I've known him for 4 years, but we've been going out for 2. So we've been together for 2 years, and we've lived together for 4. I met him at uni, and we've hit it off, and we've been, you know, good friends to, you know, partners for a while now. And a lot of the things that kept coming up, I just felt was not true. First of all, why is it assumed that if you're in an interracial relationship, you've got to hate yourself, or you've got to hate your race? I love myself, and I love my culture, and I love where I come from. I am black, British, Caribbean. My grandma and my granddad on both sides of the family, and my great granny who lives here now, they're all Jamaican. They all come from Jamaica, different parts, but they all come from Jamaica, and I love my Jamaican culture. I grew up on Jamaican food when I was a kid. I listened to Jamaican music throughout my whole childhood to even now. I listened and learned a lot about the things that my grandparents went through and experienced in Jamaica, the things that the nursery rhymes and just the whole culture that my grandparents and even my aunts and uncles who were born or lived in Jamaica, what they went through, because I still have a lot of family in Jamaica. And literally, I learnt through them, that culture, and I love my culture. I love who I am, and that will never change, even dating a white guy. And if anything, being in an interracial relationship has made me appreciate my culture so much more because of that. What I will come on to later is that cultural exchange that you'll both go through. But this is my thing, yeah. Just because I'm dating a white guy, or just because a black person is dating anyone else from a different race, it doesn't stop them from being oppressed. It doesn't stop them from facing prejudices. I can never say that word. Prejudice. And it doesn't stop them from being discriminated against. It doesn't stop them from experiencing any of that. It doesn't. If anything, your spouse, whatever race they may come from, will notice it and experience or see what you go through from a more personal level. So I just feel as though, that whole notion of, you dating someone outside of your race, means that you hate yourself. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. But I am aware that some people who do date outside of their race do not particularly love themselves. And, not everyone is going to be like me, and not everyone is going to appreciate their race. But I am aware that there will be some people, not all, but some people who do fit into that category of, oh, I don't like black men, I don't like, dating black men, or I don't like dating black women, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I do understand that that is something that does happen, but it's not just black people who do it. It does happen in Asian culture, in any sort of minority culture. I'm sure there are people who are like that, but not everyone who's in an interracial relationship is like that. So that was just my first point. My second point is that being in an interracial relationship doesn't mean that we're all living this master-slave reality or fantasy that, your relationship is unbalanced and not healthy, Being in an interracial relationship is just like being in any other relationship. If it's with the right person, and there is love and I was gonna say happiness, but if there's love involved and you generally both have feelings for each other, it's going to be a healthy relationship if you put in the work and you do what you need to do, just like any other relationship. If you're both happy and you're both in love, then there should be no problems, Not everyone is like that our relationship post where, letting people degrade them and call them the N-word, and, if my boyfriend called me the N-word, he would get, the flying kick to the face. He would get it. I would not have it. And I feel like, again, it goes back to self-love. In any relationship, it goes back to self-love, no matter if it's interracial or not. If you love yourself and you love who you are, and you're able to show love and give love to others. So yeah, like, not all interracial relationships are unbalanced. I'm sure we've all seen on YouTube and other platforms that is the case, The second or the last thing I wanted to touch on is the differences. There are differences when you're in an interracial relationship because you're both from different cultures, you're both from different races, and so there's going to be a cultural exchange. You're going to pick up things that you've never experienced before. For example, the most blatant one to me is my boyfriend. He's very open-minded. He loves the Jamaican culture. He loves my culture, and when I first met him, I introduced him to like Caribbean food. So I made like ackee and saltfish with dumplings, and what else did I make with it? Plantains for breakfast. Like one time in uni, and he loved it. He loved it, and he wanted to learn to make it himself. Now my boyfriend knows how to make so many different Caribbean dishes. Yeah, it's not like how my grandma made it, because obviously even I can't make it how my grandma made it, but it's still pretty good. And it's just, I love that he's very open to trying new things, and that's something I really like about him. But there's always that cultural exchange, there's always going to be that blatant cultural exchange and that subtle cultural exchange. With me, I've learnt, my boyfriend's English and I'm English, so obviously I knew a lot of English stuff already, but, there's certain types of food his mum will make I'd never had before, and there's certain things he, just like, certain things he calls things, I'm just like, what do you mean? But then again, that could just be because I'm from London and he's from the Midlands, so, but there's still a cultural exchange on both ends of the field. So, and now I just feel as though, and there's also going to be a level of understanding, like that deep understanding. When we talk about race and issues around race, when he talks about it from a sort of white male perspective, it kind of opens my eyes a bit, like of how white people may view race, or the way, because my boyfriend views race very similar to me, but he's able to look at it from like a white male perspective. I was a sociology student, so I love to talk about, things that are going on in society and things that are affecting lives of different types of people. And when we talk about race, especially the things that are going on in America, and he's able to point out viewpoints that I would not necessarily see from my own perspective, being a black woman. So it's always interesting. You're learning new things, you're always exchanging new things, but the basics of what goes on in any relationship will not change just because you're dating someone of a different race. And I think that's what it boils down to. So my message, or my point of view on interracial relationships, is just live your life. Love who you want to love, but just make sure that in whatever relationship you pursue, that it's balanced, it's healthy, and that it's a positive relationship. Life is too short to be spending time with people and dealing with people that are just not worth your energy, not worth your time, and are not going to benefit your life, So, yeah, live your life. That's literally it. Live your life and be happy with whoever you're with. Because not everyone is happy living their lives. So, that's it really. That's my rant over and done with. I think I'm going to do a story time about me and my boyfriend to kind of round off this interracial experience or rant or whatever I'm going to call this. Anyway, that's it. I'll speak to you later. Bye.